Spiritual greetings, friends. Hello, Mandy. How are you doing? Welcome to the Sky Spirit channel, everybody. I don't know if many people are going to be here because I think Sean's still got something running. And I actually wanted to sit watching it myself. So I thought, should I just delay this and then go upstairs after? But then I thought, no, I have got to do this regular, same time every morning because I'm the kind of person that needs that, needs that sort of timetable and structure in my life. Otherwise I'd just float off at a tangent and nothing would get done. So I decided to come upstairs and do my reading at the usual time and see if anybody turned up. But you can always watch the recording, aren't you? Can't you? So wherever you are watching this from and whenever you are watching this video, then hello. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Stick around with me for the next half an hour or so, because I'll be using tarot cards to have a look at the influences of energy around you for the next 24 hours. I've primed my cards before I start in order to ask that question of that time period. So if you need a little bit of insight into the day ahead, then you could be in the right place. So we'll start with a little bit of an astrological overview, and today is a passive aggressive day, and it's a day when people could say things with ulterior motives and things like that, because the moon is in Libra, and that's opposing both Neptune and Venus, which are both in Aries. So it's a little bit of a strange mixture. What that means is that people's motives could be hazy, and it's like there's hidden agendas going around, and it's that passive aggressive thing. Now, I'm like not very emotionally intelligent sometimes, and I just like totally don't realize when people are being passive aggressive, and I'm like, oh, that's nice of you, without realizing that people are being sarcastic or whatever. So just be careful, and if you're interpreting somebody's mood, just be aware that there could be sort of two sides to that coin today, and it's a day where you should ask bluntly for what you want and make sure that you've interpreted the answer correctly as well. So make sure you're 100% sure on whatever information is coming your way. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Right. Okay, we're going to go for a collective reading now. So this could be for you. This could be directed at you, and you will know that pretty quickly, I would imagine, if that resonates with you. Alternatively, this could be something more of along the lines of a general sort of reading for the energy of the day. It's very much a case of pick up what resonates with you, discard what you don't think is for you. There are no strict rules here. Yeah, where is Charlene? I've never seen her all morning either. It's very, very odd. She must be working really hard, I think. Right, so 3-card reading, here we go. I'm going to do this a little bit differently. Right. Okay, all right, so we have got a 6 of Swords here, which is a fabulous card. This is about leaving things behind. So it feels like if this reading's your reading, if this is resonating with you, it feels like the time has come when you're not feeling sovereign anymore. This is the Pentacle, Queen of Pentacles reversed. Feels like her crown has been a little bit unsettled by something, and it's time to leave this situation behind. It feels like you've tried many times with a particular person or with a particular situation, and it feels like it's gone round and round and round, and it's one of those things where you keep trying and then no, and you try again and you try again, and sometimes like you end up like it's like it's making you feel and look foolish to stick around and do this same thing over and over again. It's time to put your foot down, to reposition your crown right back on top of your head, and then to leave whatever situation this is causing you problems. And it feels like this is further clarified by this final card here, the 4 of Cups reversed, which talks about the end of this period of procrastination, the end of this period of sort of just letting things ride and just going along with things. It's like, you know, things aren't right, but you just go along with it, hoping that things will change. And like, I'm talking like it's a relationship here, and it very well could be, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a relationship. I mean, we've got cups here, we've got pentacles, we've got swords, so mixed across the deck. So, you know, it could be, it's not necessarily attached to relationships, emotions, cups, for example. It's just a situation where you've tried very hard and you've put a lot of your energy into it. I've got light bouncing off my cards again. See if I can shut that a bit better. Try to do it without knocking everything flying. Right, that's better. So it feels like you've put a lot of energy into something, and you've tried lots of different ways of doing it as well. You've tried lots of different ways of getting something to work. It just hasn't. It's just, you're a bit tired of it. It is literally time for you to be the Six of Swords. Get on that boat and get out of there, okay? Because across this stormy water is a much calmer place, and there's an island of hope in the background, because this is your true destination. All right, you've stuck around too long with something. It's time to leave that situation, move forward, resume your throne. Okay, get back on your throne and be the queen that you were meant to be. Okay, be that queen, because it feels like somebody has taken your crown from you, and it's not like they've done it in a nasty way. It almost feels like just the drag of constantly trying to bring them along with you, the constant drag of trying to get something done right, where it just feels like you're banging your head against a brick wall. So it's time now to leave that situation behind. And sometimes there is no other way, is it? Sometimes we can try and try and try with something, and it's just not meant to be. And if it's not meant to be, then it's not meant to be for you. Good morning, Occult Examiner. How are you doing? Just seen you over on Sean's as well. Honestly, I really wanted to stay and watch Sean, so I nearly Skyped from my own live this morning. But then I realised that his is the recording, so I could watch it later. Honestly, I'm like going to end up so poor, because like I'm doing this all morning, then I'll watch a recording, then it's like, oh, it's lunchtime, I won't be able to do any work till I've had my lunch, and then it's like, oh, well, you know, I better watch something else in the afternoon. Oh, look, there's a live on at 2 o'clock. YouTube is ruining my life. It isn't. It just becomes a bit obsessive, doesn't it? It's like I'm really into it at the moment, let's put it like that. But it's a whole new world, and it's just fascinating. And then having met such a wonderful group of people on YouTube, and it's just like that whole community thing. I love it. But I've got to earn money too, so I need to learn balance. I need to learn to be the Two of Pentacles upright and keep things in balance, rather than sort of putting everything into one particular thing at one time. Right, I am going to lay down 12 cards now. So Susie Q, I will come to that. If you keep that question in your mind, and also if you can tell me, is Dollface a place? Oh no, is that, are you calling me Dollface? Sure. Keep that in your mind. And I'll get to that at the end, but just in case I can't scroll up the chat, it's ancestors. Right, Susie Q. Right, all right, I'm going to lay out 12 cards here. So you can choose a number between 1 and 12. You can choose several numbers between 1 and 12, or you can just choose what resonates with you, and we'll take it from there. So you can use these 12 cards in any way you see fit. A lot of tarot readers do that pick a card style thing, where it's like, think of a question, pick a card in your mind. So you might think, how's my job interview going to go? I'll choose number 6, and then however I interpret number 6 should give you some insight. Thank you, Susie. I'm dull-faced. I understand now. I thought dull-face was a place. Right, so, but what I say, not necessarily pick a card. We use this as we see fit. So again, I'm going to do a little bit of extra shuffling here. Right. sometimes I just get drawn to put the cards down in a different way, and I never ignore that because things land in your mind for a reason. They really do. I can't describe to you the amount of times that I've just had to do things in a different way, and then turns out that was supposed to be how it was done. Your mind works in mysterious ways, everybody. Don't we know it? It really, really does. Right, okay, let us proceed with number one. Oh dear. Number one, the Ten of Swords. Bit of a card to kick off with. The Ten of Swords is a card of accidents and chaos and sort of things happening, coming out of the blue, things that can be very chaotic, things that are the end of something. Because this is a 10, it's the end of a cycle. So the good news is that it just something's come to an end, and it feels like, you know, if there was a forest fire, it's a massive, massive nightmare for the individual animals and trees, but it's also necessary for the continuation of the forest as a whole. And also there are some species of tree, are there not, that need fire in order to grow again. So it's part of the natural cycle of that sort of that area, of all that life. So this is a card that tells you, okay, be like the fire, burn through what is burning through. What is, I'm just going to turn that light round a bit in my face there. What is it that's been burnt through? Get rid of this old wood. Let the fire burn it, okay? You may be experiencing a time of significant trauma at the moment. It can even feel like people are sticking the knife in. So if you look quite literally at this card, it's like this guy's got swords sticking out of him. It's like he's literally been pierced all over and he's bleeding. His emotions are bleeding out. But with the tarot, there's always a lesson, isn't there? Because we are spiritual beings and we're here to learn lessons. And so what you're encouraged to do with the Ten of Swords is to think about, okay, what is the lesson? What is the lesson? What am I being shown here? And what can I take from this? Because it's so easy when you go through a Ten of Swords trauma to just curl up and sort of take the blows and just try to protect yourself and get through it. Good news is it's a 10, so it's the end of a cycle, so it's not likely to last a long time now. It's like it's come to a head. But if you can bear it, unfurl yourself, let some of those blows rain down on you, feel them. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. See if you can sit with your pain until you can give it a name, until you can overcome it and learn from it, all right? And it could well be that this has been long coming, and sometimes we need a Ten of Swords experience in our lives, and these sort of things can be like a separation from somebody, you know, that traumatic breakup of a relationship. But it could well be that it was needed for a long time, and putting it off isn't ever going to have changed the fact that it was needed. Okay, it's just like, go, no, it's not happened, so everything's okay. Well, sadly, the news is that it wasn't okay. It was just you were putting off that event. So once your Ten of Swords event takes hold, it's like, stand there, put your chest out and take the storm, and just try to stand as straight as you can, because it's not going to last a long time. There are lessons to be learned, and when this event finishes, it's like the clouds clear. And you actually see this on this card. You see this maelstrom of clouds, and when it's finished, the clouds clear and the sky is blue behind those clouds. So it's like you're burning through this stage at the moment, but it's for a good reason. And it's one of those times when I'm going to be patronizing and say everything happens for a reason, but I believe that it does. And I believe that the Ten of Swords can really clear the way for new growth for you. So if that resonated with you, then be strong and let me know how that goes for you. A number two. Okay, so we have one of my favorite cards here is the Hermit, and it's reversed, which is great. Really goes with our Ten of Swords here, because the Ten of Swords is your traumatic event, and then perhaps you feel the need to be the hermit, to retreat inside your shell and to sort of lick your wounds. And then the Hermit reversed is saying, okay, have you spent enough time now inside yourself? It's like you've got to go in. But once you've been in there, acquiring your inner wisdom, sampling that pain, feeling it emotionally, like living it, examining it from your inside out. So really some self-reflection, self-awareness, really thinking about things. And then, are you now ready to be the hermit rising and to light your lamp, which will show you the way forward? And the lamp is the lamp of knowledge, and the knowledge is from within. So it's almost like you learn from the Ten of Swords experience, which is trauma on a soul level, and then that trauma allows you to light the lamp of wisdom, which then enables you to leave that place of trauma and to start on a new path. So if you've chosen number two today, then this is a card that is tapping you on the shoulder and saying, all right, you've had to spend some time in self-reflection. You have been licking your wounds, okay, no doubt. And you have been probably spending almost time alone. And that doesn't necessarily have to be physically alone, because we are all quite capable of being in a house full of people and yet still feeling alone. So it's a card that's saying to you, okay, it's time to rejoin. It's time to rejoin your path. It's time to feel the love of those around you and the support of those around you as well. Because sometimes we can isolate ourselves even from the people that we love, because we can sometimes feel that we don't want to drag them down, or we can feel that they can't possibly have the answers. But even if they don't have the answers, we still value them as support. So it's this card encourages you as you start on your path, lighting your way of wisdom with your newly lit lamp. Then allow the people around you who love you to be that support as well, and allow them to continue with you on your journey. Number three. We have Temperance, but it's reversed. And Temperance reversed is a bit of a chaotic card. So it's sort of like, Temperance is a card of moderation, but when it's reversed, I always feel like it feels like frustration and the urge to put all your eggs in one basket, or the urge to go down, you know what I just said about, and you know, you start something like YouTube and it's like, it's all you want to do. You want to do YouTube every day, and you want to watch YouTube. You want to do YouTube lives. You want to record YouTube. That is Temperance reversed. It's not moderation, and it's sort of, it's not a balance, is it? So when this card comes up reversed like this, it's talking about an excess, a misbalance, is that a word? An unbalanced distribution of energy. And it's a reminder that in order to move forward successfully, then you really do have to achieve moderation and balance. And when you look at the Temperance card, the Angel of Temperance, she's a major arcana, so she has a big impact on your life, and she has 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot in the water, because this is it's to symbolize that it's a balance between the water and the earth. So the emotions and the practicalities. So the mind, the body, the soul, the spirit. It's all about being balanced in all things. So I'm talking about balancing what I do to earn money with what I do, which I just enjoy, which is my YouTube, which doesn't earn me money. So, and I'm thinking, gosh, I'm going to have to like stop spending so much time doing YouTube and spend some time doing the things that are going to earn me money, because otherwise I'm going to end up on the street, guys. But, you know, it's that moderation, isn't it? It's that achieving that balance, doing what you need to do. And Charlene, that's not helping. I need to start a TikTok live and do that as well. So so that's another thing that I can become unbalanced and put loads of effort into. But I totally get that, and I'm right into that as well. I want to do that. But eventually, so I do have a master plan for all this, because I thought, eventually, like years down the line, when there's millions of people watching these little morning tarot readings, then YouTube will stick a crappy advert on the beginning and the end, so I will get a little bit of income from it. But what I never want to do for these mornings is go down the cash for questions route, and I've learned that, because sometimes you have to do the wrong thing to see the right thing, and that's not the way that I wanted to go for this channel ever. So what was I saying? I totally forget. We've got temperance reversed. All right, so if you've chose number 3, it's impatience, it's chaos, it's not moderation, it's unbalanced use of energy and reserves and resources. So have a look around and see where you need to balance more. Where can you exercise moderation? This card also comes up in cases of addiction, because addiction to substances is at its heart not moderation, is it? It's putting too much excess into something and going down that path. So again, the angel of moderation is with you. Now, the good news, I always think, when you've got a card with an angel on, is that you're being divinely guided as well. So it feels like, all right, you might be struggling when this card is reversed, but you still have an angel on your shoulder, and you're still being divinely guided to make those right decisions. Remember, we always say forewarned is forearmed. So with this energy, look around. What isn't balanced? What is chaotic? What are you not being moderate about? And where can you change that in order to move forward? And we could even tie these 3 cards together, couldn't we? Because we've got this sense of chaos and catastrophe that's needing some self-reflection in order to make the path clear to lead your way forward, and that could take some balancing of the energies as well. And even sometimes when you don't have balanced energies, it could lead to a 10 of Swords moment, because as I've explained there, my obsession with YouTubing at the moment could quite well lead me to a financial catastrophe, which might end up being my 10 of Swords moment, but it won't, because forewarned is forearmed, and I shall take heed and I shall address the balance in my life. Honestly, I will. Number 4. Okay, beautiful card, and we have another angel in the house. We have the Lovers card. I love this card, and I don't see it very often, and it's strange because each tarot reader has a unique relationship with their tarot deck, and we seem to see particular cards more often than others, and I don't see the Lovers all that often. The Lovers is an angel card, so it's a card where it feels like you're being divinely guided. Now, this card can literally be about physical love. So taking a lover, romance coming into your life. It can be about bringing beauty into your life, attracting love, attracting a soulmate, attracting a twin flame into your life. It can also be about focusing on the relationship that's important to you. So your other half, is there something that you need to be focusing on with that person, that special other person in your life? This card is in the upright position, so it would suggest that this is a positive moment for you two of you. If this is talking about an intimate relationship, it's not like this is a negative aspect. However, this card is also about making choices, and I think that comes down to the symbolism of often, like the love triangle, where it's like 2 people trying to vie for one person's attention, and one person having to choose between 2 options. That sort of energy exists with the Lovers as well. And you'll also find that these 2 dudes are the people that are chained to the devil later on in the major arcana card. So it's also a card that talks about being chained by your own desires and decisions, and also about making choices between 2 things. So it's a card that sometimes comes up when you've got a decision to make and it's a hard one, and you've got to choose between one option and the other, and going down one way could be quite, it could chain you to a wrong way, i.e. that devil card. So it's important to take your time when making this choice, and to seek divine guidance, because we have an angel involved here. It's like it's a tap on the shoulder saying, okay, right, you're not quite sure which way to go. Why don't you seek divine guidance? And I'm not specifying what that divine guidance could be. You might be a Christian and choose to pray. You might choose another form of divine guidance. So however you discern that guidance, perhaps you could use that to make your decision. But this is a beautiful card, and it's a card that opens up doorways as well, and it's a card that clears confusion, because the lovers here, they have a cloud between them at the moment, and it's the cloud of confusion, and it's like saying at the moment the way forward isn't clear. However, as soon as this angel wafts her wings, their wings, then that cloud is going to clear, and the way will become clear. So it's a little bit of a be brave card as well. It's like, be brave, stick to your guns, make that decision, and then you'll see those clouds of confusion clear. So it's a really nice card. I mean, I like to think of this. I'd like to say, right, it's a new relationship coming in today. It's going to be really exciting. And quite literally, it can be that. And that is, if you think about that, the energy of that new relationship. When you're like a teenager and you meet somebody new and you've got butterflies in your tummy, and it's like you feel like everything is new and you're a new person and you're going to do your hair differently and you're going to live life differently. And it's also fresh and new. Now translate that feeling to how you feel like a few years down the line. In my case, a few decades down the line. And it's like bringing that energy of the new, of the unexpected, of the pleasurable back into your life. It's that excitement, isn't it? And it's an excitement by being offered a choice. Do you take this person up on what they're offering you, or do you choose somebody else? So that's a really exciting card for you. Number 4, Mandy, you chose number 4, so you've got the lovers this morning. So I'd like to hear how that works out for you. Beautiful card. Romance, relationships, can also be temptation. So watch out for those choices. Number 5, we're going straight the way along the bottom this morning. Number 5, we've got the King of Wands reversed. So the King of Wands reversed, this is somebody whose power has been unseated, and it feels like they've lost control of a situation a little bit. And it can feel like there could be a sense of dishonesty there that's caused, perhaps somebody wasn't being truthful with you, or perhaps you're not being truthful with yourself, or perhaps you've got yourself into a situation, when you back yourself into a corner because you've told a few white lies and you end up in this position, you're like, shit, I've said that and now I can't go back on it. That's all very King of Wands reversed energy. It's like suddenly you're right at the top of the pile, but your energy is reversed. It's like off kilter. And it's like, how do I get my crown back on and maintain my sovereignty and put things right? And so this card is asking you to take a back seat and to think very, very clearly, because Wands is so much about energy and fire, and it's about being impulsive, but sometimes it can be a reminder that you also need to have a bit of earth there. You have to have a bit of practicality there, trying to think how best to move forward whilst still maintaining your dignity and maintaining your integrity. That's the word that I'm looking for, integrity. So it's like this guy, when he's up this way, is honest, he is friendly, he has integrity dripping from every pore of his body. And then when he's upside down like this, it's like, okay, he needs to focus on getting back to that position where everything is crystal clear and there's no sort of grey areas. Everything, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. Okay, so this could be you. So it could be you who's feeling like this, or it could be that you come across somebody or a situation where it feels a little bit like the leaders or the leadership has been dishonest or has been displaced in some way today. And it's a card also of disillusionment with leaders. All right, so for example, if you were part of a group and you suddenly saw the leader of that group in a new way, and you felt very disillusioned with them, and you suddenly thought, wow, they're not who I thought they were. That's a King of Wands reversed sort of energy. So if that's happening for you or to you, then I would suggest that you sit back and just take a back seat and observe, because as the king and with the king energy, we're tempted to just gallop into lead the battle, yeah, to actually be in charge. But sometimes it pays to sit back a little bit and to watch how other people act and watch how things develop in order to form new opinions. Because as kings, we can all be a bit arrogant and convinced that we're right, and sometimes we don't take on board other people's opinions or watch how they do things and see how that works for them. So however that translates for you today, number 5, your king energy is unsettled. The leadership energy is unsettled, whether it's you, whether it's another. So the advice of the card is to observe rather than try to lead by pushing through. Lead by sitting back and watching what everybody else does, and then resume your position of integrity. So I like that card. It's quite an interesting one. Number 6. Again, interesting. Okay, so King of Wands is about sort of feeling a bit disempowered, isn't it? And then we have the Magician, and the Magician is our manifester of the tarot deck. But this guy's upside down, so he's feeling also a little bit disempowered, or he could be. And he feels like when the magician's up this way, he's like, yes, whatever I want to manifest, I shall create. I shall bring into reality from all the elements around me. I shall manifest my desires. I shall make things happen. I shall abracadabra it and everything will work. And that's how the magician works, all right? He is confident. He is willing things. He has the skill to do things. Then when he's upside down, it's like the rug's been pulled from under his feet. He's having his King of Wands reversed moment. He's like, whoa, suddenly I feel like I've never felt like this before. Suddenly things aren't working out for me. I actually feel a bit shaken in my self-confidence, and this isn't usual for me. This is like, I'm not used to feeling that I might not be right, and I might have got things wrong, and perhaps things aren't working out for me as I thought they would. So when the magician's upside down, I feel a little bit sorry for him, because he suddenly gets that shock. It's like the rug's been pulled from under his feet. He's like, good grief, how come that didn't work? He's so used to like being in charge and everything's mercurial and working out around him, and he's air and he's fire at the same time, and things are flowing and he's creative. And all of a sudden, whoa, what happened? He's like dropped everything on the floor, and then he's trying to struggle to pick everything up. It's like he's not moving forward. He's stuck where he is. So if you've chosen number 6 today, or if number 6 resonates for you, it feels like you might have been carrying all your, it's like when you're at work and you're carrying all those files or bits of paper along, and you bump into somebody and damn, they're all over the floor, and then you're scrabbling around trying to pick them up, and all of a sudden it's like unsettled you. That's this card. It's that unsettled feeling, and suddenly you can't see the way forward as clearly as you always have. However, hello Aussie Mel, how are you doing? However, what you need to remember with this card, it's a major arcana card for a start, so it's very powerful. He's the Magician, goddammit, which is an extremely powerful card. And with my block cards, my reversals, I read blockages. So this energy is still around you, and what you need to do is pick your crown up and put it back on before you move on and resume your magician energy. So it feels like sometimes, I'm sure I've used this analogy before recently as well. Sometimes, when you drop everything all over the floor and you like try and stop and pick everything up, sometimes You just have to leave it all lying all over the floor. In fact, kick it out the way and just walk through it onto the next thing. And that's how I always feel when the magician turns up upside down, because it's like, all right, sometimes what about if we don't try and fix this? What about if we don't try to abracadabra this? What about if we just discard it all, safe in the knowledge that we are able to manifest, we are able to move forward and create new ways of thinking, new ways of doing, new ways of being. So it's a card of power. So why don't you just walk through that storm and continue? Aussie Mel, I'm desperate to hear what happened with that work thing the other day, because I don't think you've been on since, so do let me know. Right, I'm going to start at number 12 on the top row here. Number 12, you've got the 8 of Wands. So the 8 of Wands, whatever it is that you're expecting is going to happen fast. This is a card of speed. It's a card where something's going to change very quickly for you. This is also a card that's associated with Cupid and those arrows of love and being struck by sudden changes of heart, sudden changes of emotion. And it's like things come out the blue. So if you imagine you're just strolling along and all of a sudden, bang, 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 you're hit by all these arrows and you're like, whoa, what's changed? And it's like a sudden change of heart happens, or you see things suddenly new. And it's very often to do with your emotion about something. So it's like, you know, when you have one of those moments where you're like, this is a very literal and shallow example, because I think I used to be quite a shallow person in my youth, but I'd be like seeing a guy and like it'd all be going all right, and then all of a sudden one day I'd get up and I'd go, ick. And my daughter calls it now getting the ick, which is like suddenly it's like you can't see anything right for seeing wrong. It's like you've just had this about change and all of a sudden everything that looked good looks bad. And you can do it the other way up as well. It's like suddenly everything that was bad looks good. But the 8 of Wands has that energy. It's like things moving in really quickly and it suddenly changes how you see things. It's a sudden change of perspective. It's also really, really quick decision making. It's also, I haven't read number 10 yet, Helena. It's really, really quick decision making. And it feels like if you've got decisions to make, today is a day where it's a really good idea to just make them, sort of make them on instinct rather than sort of weighing up these things time after time. This one is number 12, Occult Examiner. I've started from 12. Because I read them in random. I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I started at 12 because I normally dot all over the house. So what was I saying? I forget. Impulsive decisions, yes, but it's a good day to make impulsive decisions. This is a card that's in its positive aspect, so it feels like don't dilly-dally over things. Trust your instinct and trust that sometimes you will make quick decisions and sometimes you don't need to think about them that quickly because you just know. You've used your instinct and you know. And on the illustration of this card, you won't be able to see it, but you have, there's like a lake and on the other side there's a castle. And to me that represents that you're moving across water. You're making a decision that takes you somewhere, transports you through emotions, through emotional change and to a castle, which is a destination. So it's like you make the decision quickly, it changes your emotions and you get to where you want it to be. So it's a really positive card. So have the confidence in your decisions and have the confidence in your own judgments. I am going to go to number 7 now. Number 7, okay, you've got the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords is the knowledge seeker. The Page of Swords is intelligent. He or she is curious. They have a search for knowledge, a thirst for knowledge. It's about being successful. It's about achieving. It's about somebody who feels the need to go out and dig for that knowledge. So it's like you're not willing to sit back and just accept what people are telling you. You are like, right, pages are young and but it doesn't have to be like you are a young person. It's a young mindset. It's like, say if somebody said to you, Today, I want you to do this because this is the way that we've always done it. The Page of Swords would go, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go out and I'm going to do my own research. And I'm going to take my sword. I'm going to cut through the clouds of confusion. I'm going to go onto the internet and I'm going to have a bit of a dig around and I'm going to find the truth in this matter, because I'm not willing just to take on board what you say because you say it's always been done that way. Do you see where I am with this? It's like this, just finding it out for yourself, moving forward in a really positive way to clear up confusion by doing it yourself, by seeking that knowledge. I'm just putting my cards back so we can see them in my little window. So if you're watching this on replay, on the replay crew, you'll be able to see which card I'm reading at which time. And I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that will be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I'm on number 7 at the moment. Apologies if my sort of random moving around here is a little bit confusing at times. So my page, have the bravery of the page, because the page doesn't look behind him. He just looks forwards and he looks through the clouds of confusion. He doesn't waste his time looking back at history and wondering if he's making the right decisions. He uses his knowledge, he uses his research, he moves forward and he uses confidence, and that confidence and arrogance of the youth, isn't it? Which isn't always a bad thing. It's brilliant. Can you imagine being as confident about everything as you used to be when you were sort of like, I don't know, much younger? When I was like, I don't know, 19, 20, I was unbearably arrogant. But at the time, it felt great. I must have been an absolute nightmare. But at the time, for me, I felt so single-minded and everything was so black and white that life felt much easier than now. It's like, oh, I can't make a decision without thinking about it and wondering what that person would think about it or how it will affect this. You know, sometimes you just got to be that Page of Swords, got to be that arrogant youth and just cut through and just go for it. Great card. Right, where we're going now, number 8. Number 8. Right, so we've got the Ace of Pentacles here, and that's reversed. So feels like this could have been an obstacle that's put in your way, or something that you were starting, but there's been a hiccup and there's been a bump in the road, shall we say. This card would come up if you were on the verge of starting a new business and then something goes wrong, like the money that you'd hoped to raise in order to start it didn't come through from the bank, or something that you needed in order for it to get off the ground didn't happen. It's like there was an opportunity, you were about to go down that path, then all of a sudden there's a hiccup and it's like, oh, it's stopped, it's stalled, it's turned upside down. However, remember, we're still talking about an ace here. We're talking about a new beginning, and I read reversals as blockages. So we still have the energy of that Ace of Pentacles, which in itself is about success, manifesting your desires, manifesting material success. That energy is still around you. It's simply been delayed. And what this card encourages you to do, and let's go back to our Page of Swords here. Let's have a look at these two together because they were next to each other. I'm increasingly seeing my cards interact like this. If you have had a stumbling block in something that had just taken off, all right, try not to take it as like the death knell for the project, okay? Go back to the drawing board. Be the Page of Swords. Start digging around for a reason why, okay, and a new way forward. So rather than taking this as like a major setback, think of it as sometimes we have to be shown the things that were wrong earlier on in a process in order so they don't cause bigger problems later on down the road, where they could have a bigger effect and cause like a bigger problem. Say this is a 1 in effect, isn't it? It's an ace, it's a 1, it's a beginning. If this problem evolved down the road and became a 6, a 7, an 8, then you've got a problem that's more ingrained. You've got a problem that's going to take a lot more to iron out. So what we're going to do with this problem at the moment is we're going to exercise the Page of Swords energy. We're just going to take it on head on. We're going to think about it as not a We're not going to look at it as a problem. We're going to look at it as a challenge that needs a solution. And we're going to find the solution as the Page of Swords, which will then help us to make this project or this circumstance in our life more robust as we move forward with it. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a convoluted way is teething problems, isn't it? Finding solutions for teething problems that are not only going to solve the problems that you have today, but are also going to be solutions that you can implement further down the line in order to bring more clarity and more success to projects overall. So I hope that resonates with you. It's actually, although it's a reversal of a card, it's not a negative card. Yeah, it is an obstacle. And do you know, if we never had obstacles, we wouldn't learn how to overcome challenges, would we? So it's this tripping you up in order to show you that there are obstacles there that need solutions before you move further, so that they don't create big problems further on down the road. Number 8. Number 8, you've got judgment reversed. So judgment reversed can indicate that things are coming to a conclusion, or it's the endings of things, or it's things that you might feel like you've gone down the wrong path, or you've made the wrong decisions, or your judgment's been flawed about something, and you might be second guessing yourself. You might be thinking, you know, have I made these right decisions? Am I putting my energy, perhaps even my electricity, in the right place? Am I actually, you know, have I made the right choices, or have I not? And this card is really stalling you back, and it's saying, hang on a minute, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's pull back on the reins for a moment before we gallop off down the road of decision, okay? Let's hold back and let's have a look at what's going on here, because again, we have an angel, we have divine guidance, and so we're in a position where we can ask for divine guidance, whether that be from your God, whichever God it is that you choose to worship, or yourself, your higher self, or your guardian angels, or anything like that. So you're in a position where you can ask for guidance, but it is a card that's saying, just pause before you go down the route you've chosen at the moment, because it feels like this is a major card, right? So it's impactful. It feels like the decision you're making at the moment, the judgments you're making at the moment, are going to have long-lasting effects on your life. They're going to cause big changes, or they're going to have, like, you know, that domino effect. It's the ripple effect. It's that it's the tsunami effect. It's like what starts as a small wave gradually goes across the ocean, and by the time it gets to the other side, whoosh, it's like big enough to take out entire countries. Okay, so no pressure, honestly, but it's one of those times where it's very, very important that you have clarity on your decision making. It's very, very important that you look at all the details and that you are 100% sure that you're making the right decision. And like, you're going to say, how do we ever know that we're making the right decision? Well, I think in some cases, we just have to do it as best we can, don't we? We have to make sure that we've looked at all the facts available. Sometimes we choose to take divine guidance. Like if I had this card and I was at the, I was in the middle of a decision-making process, because I use tarot and things like that, I would now turn to my tarot and I'd be doing an entire spread to help me. I'd be using this card as a significator, in effect, and I'd be using an entire spread to look at what it was that I was trying to decide. Because remember, one tarot card isn't going to give you a rounded answer. It can only give you a little nudge and a little idea. So if this is you, if you've chosen card number 9 today, I would urge you to carefully consider any of your decisions, carefully consider judgments that you're making today. Mr. Steve, did you choose number 9? It does mean you've got to think today. Yeah, it's like a card that would tell you not to rush in. You know that, what is it, fools rush in type of saying? Is it fools rush in? Something like that. But that's this card reversed. That's this energy. It's like, do take your time, do consider everything very, very carefully. And if you are so drawn to, then ask your higher power for divine guidance, ask for guidance. I mean, you can also, some people, if you believe in nothing else, you could ask somebody you trust for guidance, can't you? You can bring somebody else into the picture who may be in a position where they have a more rounded or objective viewpoint, because sometimes making a decision can be hard for us because we're so embroiled in it emotionally that we're not objective about things. So sometimes it just means bringing in somebody with an objective viewpoint. But yes, it's all about decisions, and yes, it does mean that you've got to think today, Mr. Steve. Right, number 10. Number 10. You have the Four of Swords. Now, I actually like this card because it talks about deep rest and contemplation. It reminds me a little bit of the Hermit. Whereas the Hermit is like going within to find sort of new wisdom, I find that the Four of Swords is about taking a break from people. Just like you need a vacation, you need the long sleep. It's a card that indicates you might be feeling exhausted mentally. It's that mental exhaustion. It's like, wow, you've put such a lot of thought and energy into doing something, and now it's time to allow yourself that time to relax, to unwind, to step back from a situation. Because while you're under this energetic influence, it feels like you're just going to wear yourself out if you continue down the same road without refreshing yourself mentally, okay? Because this is a card, look at this guy here. He is sleeping. He is just hanging around there, just thinking, oh, do you know, I just need to have a bit of a kip here because I'm not going down this road any further. It's about recovery. Now, it's also a good card, and this always reminds me, because he's under like a stained glass window. Now, if you imagine, I think about these in imagery because I'm an artist, all right? But if you imagine he's under a stained glass window. Now, imagine the sun is coming through that window and it's going through the stained glass. And imagine all the beautiful light that will be pouring all over his sleeping face. And it's like he's being bathed in beautiful light and colours while he rests. And that's like it's rejuvenating him. All those beautiful colours are feeding back into all the chakras of his body. All his energy centres are being activated by this beautiful deep rest that he's having and this recovery. This is also a beautiful card if you have been physically, mentally, emotionally ill or suffering. It's a card that's about recovery. It's a card that's saying you are on your way to recovery. That light is pouring through that stained glass window and seeping into your very, very being. It's you're taking on the energy, and it's rejuvenating every cell within you. Okay, so if you have this card, if you can today, don't push yourself to do stuff. Spend the time in relaxation. Spend today in recovery. Spend it like, you know, just like, can you ever just lie around doing nothing? Because I find it really difficult, but it's a real skill to be able to go into that type of rest, to be able to actually rest the mind, the body, the soul all at once without having to have something that you're focusing on. Yeah, it's a real skill and it's really good for you. That deep meditation, the deep meditative state, being able to rest and then rejuvenate. And it's that you can't pour from an empty cup energy, isn't it? It's needed, so take the rest. Finally, then we have number 11. Number 11, you've got the world, and the world is reversed. So the world is a card of cycles. Now, this is a card which it's got a tricky interpretation because it's still about the completion of a cycle, okay? But it might mean that you feel like you're finishing a cycle, but it's in an unsatisfactory way. Or you might feel that there are loose ends left over which you forgot to tie. Or you can feel like it can sometimes feel like you failed to succeed, like you've got to the end of doing something and it didn't work. But what this card reminds you is that everything that completes is in fact the end of a cycle, and it's offering you lessons to be learned from. Yeah, so the World is a really important major arcana card, number 21, and she, he, they is dancing. They're filled with joy because they've gone through the process of moving through a situation, and they're at the completion of it. It's upside down. It's just like got that little niggly thing where you think, ah, did I actually learn something from that? Or did that finish exactly how I wanted it to? And it's a karmic card because it's saying, yes, it did. This is the end of the cycle. It completed exactly how it was supposed to have been completed. And now you have to take the lessons um, from that finish. I was going to say the finishment, from the finishment of something. The finishment. I like that word. So there we have it. Our word for the day, folks, is finishment. So take what you can from the finishment of this situation, and that means learning the lessons from the things that didn't complete as you wanted them to, because it would be brilliant, wouldn't it, if we just went through life moving through numerical cycles of 0 to 21, 0 to 21. So we start off of the Fool, we end up as the World, and we go round and round and round, and we learn all these lessons, and we move through it in a very linear way. We just don't. So sometimes we have to take things as incomplete, or they feel incomplete to us. But I like to think, in the grand scheme of things, incompleteness is in itself a completion, because that those things that didn't work as you intended them to, or were left undone, have been pointed out to you as things to watch for in the future, or they become the lessons that could be learned. Now this card also can have a couple of literal meanings as well. So if you have been planning travel, this card sometimes comes up when people's travel plans are disrupted. I love how the tarot can have these really, really deep, meaningful, spiritual meanings. And then it's like, yeah, but your passport might not be in date. So if you've got a travel plan, just make sure that you do check that you've got everything in place, and there's not going to be anything trips you up. Also, the other sort of little interpretation difference here as well, another different reason, you can have this card can be about confidence, because when this woman here, woman, man, she's actually said to be a hermaphrodite. When this person finishes this cycle, they're dancing, they're confident. When this card is upside down, some people read this reversal as a dent to the confidence. So it's also a card that might leave you feeling underconfident. But I would say in that case, this card teaches you, again, it's about learning life lessons, isn't it? And taking forward from those lessons a sense of confidence, because every single thing that we do, we learn from, even when we really cock things up, and especially when we really cock things up, we learn from it and we move on, don't we? And we hopefully don't make that mistake again. As I'm saying that with a wry smile, because I'm the kind of person who will make the mistake once, and then every single time, and then I'll do it again and again and again, and every time that circumstance is presented to me, I will make the same mistake again, and I never learn. Maybe I'm just a young spirit who needs to be here for several million lifetimes in order to learn not to go down fall down those same holes. So there we go. Those are our 12 cards, and I hope you got something from that. I hope something resonated with you. I hope you were able to choose a card that resonated, either by picking a card using a number system, or whether you were just listening to the explanations and taking on board some of those lessons, I think is the word that I'm looking for, because every single tarot card has a beautiful lesson and a terrible lesson for us, so that every single one has a message for you, it has a meaning for you, and it has a lesson for you. And the lessons are even the cards that you think would be, just a little minor arcana card, has a massive message that someday you might remember at some point in the future, and it sort of becomes poignant. And I think that's how we build up our relationship with our cards when we're reading, because you sort of you start relating to the cards as you move through life and move through experiences, and you see your life play out in each of those 78 cards, and then in each reversal as well. So you start to have that relationship, and as you listen to readings more, I think you start to see that as well. So I did have a question before, so I'm just seeing if I can scroll up. There's the scrolly bar, I think. Aha, found it. Right, I found the scrolly bar on my screen. Being careful not to actually just accidentally switch the whole thing off here, because I did have a question earlier on, and let's see if I can find it. There was a specific question and I've lost it. It was really early on. I can't find it. I can't find the question. This is where I need to have some sort of system, don't I? But I don't. I don't know how I would set up a system on this software to, like, you know, I know how people using StreamYard star the questions or something. I don't think you can do that on here. I should probably take my own advice and be the Page of Swords and do my own research, shouldn't I? So I shall do that later on. Let's have a look, have a look, have a look. I'm still looking. Maybe somebody's deleted the question. Nah, I can't see it. No, I can't. I'm sorry if I've missed your question, but I literally can't find it. Yeah, Charlene, that's a good idea. Charlene, you are the voice of reason here. I should have said that, shouldn't I? Can you ask your question again? It was Susie, wasn't it? So I'll just like sit here and shuffle while, right, scroll right to the top, says Helena. I thought I was right at the top. Yeah, I think I went to the top. I don't know where it's gone. Right, I'm just going to go back down to the bottom and hover around here and see if Susie comes back. Susie Q74. Yes, it was, wasn't it? And I can't see the question now. Maybe she's deleted it. I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm just going to sit here awkwardly shuffling for a couple of minutes just to give Susie a minute to put that question back in if I've just missed it. But I think she might have deleted it, to be honest, because I literally can't see it. I don't know how I would see it either if it's not there, because I can't seem to get onto a previous page of questions. What if I do that? This is where I suddenly disappear, because I go, what if I do that? And then I vanish. Oops, no, that doesn't work. Right, okay. I think Susie is not going to put a question back in there. So it looks like I don't have any questions. So it looks like, right, Mandy, she asked about her ancestors. Susie, you're there. No, delete. Okay, I see you. Right, Susie, you asked about your ancestors and you didn't delete it. I wonder why I can't see it. Right. So we're going to have a look at Susie's ancestors. There's quite a broad question, Susie, to ask tarot, to be fair, because I'm just going to do your 3-card spread here. But I'm a great believer in, it's not for me to say, ooh, that's a bit of a big question for 3 cards. It's for the cards to tell you what they want you to hear. Okay, so you were born on the 18th of January 1974 at 8:37 a.m. I'm just going to put that to the cards and ask if there's anything about your ancestors. Now, when you're putting in your date and time of birth, that would be really used for numerology, astrology, and not so much for tarot as such. But I am reading and I am focusing on what you're putting on there. It's just, it's sort of not really as much to do with tarot when you're talking about dates and times of births there. Right, bear with me. Okay, right. Susie Q. Let's have a think about Susie's ancestors. Susie Q. Right, okay, so Susie Q, I think I see your ancestors as being in a position of power. So it feels like they were leaders in some respect. It feels like they were in charge. It feels like they were like royalty, but if not royalty, then, you know, what is the word for noble, you know, where they would be sort of like kings and queens, like, but perhaps not the king of the country, but like, you know, like landowners, people in charge, people that had a lot of power and were able to exercise that power in assisting the people around them. Now I've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed here as well. So it feels like, although your ancestors may have had power over people, it feels like what they did was they battled over money. And it feels like what happened here, we've got the Five of Swords reversed. It feels like there was a lot of infighting, and although they seemed to have a lot of power, they also struggled a lot to maintain that power, because it's sort of because there was a lot of revolt around them. It feels like there was a lot of, yeah, there was a lot of issues where I've got a Page of Cups reversed. It feels like everything was split into many factions. We've got Page, we've got Pentacles, we've got a reversal of a Six of Pentacles. It feels like they didn't share wealth out amongst the people around them. So I'm trying to find a nice way to put this. It may have been that your ancestors a long time back took wealth from people but didn't distribute it to, like, amongst people in the same way that they should have done. And what that led to was a sense of disillusionment for them. It's almost like they went through a time of fighting, and it's like fighting with other families. There was this not very well distributed wealth, which then led to splitting apart of your ancestral families. Okay, and this then caused a big rift, which meant that financially things went downhill for them. Now, what I'm then getting here, this feels a little bit disjointed, but it does feel that it was very much to do with the misappropriation of wealth. But having said that, it feels like there was then a period of time where there was this sense of reflection that they went into, and for a long time it became that your ancestors felt powerless. They didn't do anything. They retreated because of the sort of because of the problems that had come from the past with all this infighting and misdistribution. That's the word. Misdistribution. Is that the word? Oh, misdistribution of wealth caused problems. They had to retreat from it. Now, what I'm getting is there was ill advice as well. And again, this is like people, the whole family feels like they were fighting about this financial issue. I'm not sure if you're relating to that, but every time I'm drawing a card to get clarification, I'm getting the same message here about infighting, about wealth. And I'm just reading your subsequent message. Why am I living in pain, physical, mental, and I was told I was a 4. Oh, I don't do numerology, Susie, so I'm not quite sure where your 4 is coming from then. But what I would suggest that you do, if you were interested in what I'm picking up here, because I'm picking up all this infighting about money and misdistribution. I know that's not the word, but I'm hoping that you can work out what I'm trying to say in a dodgy way there. it feels like the balance was off kilter because of this fighting over money. And has that manifested today in you, the person that is a product? Because if we think about it, when I think about ancestral pain, I'm thinking of you standing where you are today, are the culmination of all these joinings between people, all these love matches between people, and all the fighting and the energy that they had. And now you stand there, and all that energy, whether it's positive or negative, is in you. So I wonder whether your pain, physical and mental, has any roots in this fighting that has been an ancestral thing in your family's history. And if you were interested in that, I would suggest that you would consult perhaps like a numerologist, or like a really good astrologer, in order to sort of dig that out, because it's not something that I'm going to be able to get with a quick sort of very quick tarot reading here. Sorry if that's a bit disjointed, but I was just putting down cards here and just getting the same answer again and again. And often my cards do that. They're like, yeah, we've said what we're going to say, and I'm like, oh, no, another answer, and I'm just getting the same thing back here. Right, I'm just scrolling down again here, and I've still got that word in my head: misdistribution. Missed, what is it? Lordy, right. Oh, thank you, Charlie. No, I don't do numerology, but I certainly would look into that in your family history. Okay, I'm reading your follow-on comment there, Susie. So that could be making a little bit of sense. Can I suggest that you go? Is there anybody that you can go away and ask about this fighting, about this money that's been going on in your? And I mean, this is almost like distant past as well. It feels like it's been a repeated pattern, which is why it kept coming out with that Five of Swords as well. So I'd be really interested to hear that. And I think where are we? I think that's the only question that I had today. And I didn't answer it all that well either, did I? But Susie, go and dig into that. Look into that fighting over wealth in your family's history, not just recent family. See if you can get even further back than that, because it feels like ancient as well. Right. Okay, so I think we're done for today, and I think I was just about to say, I think I'll go and see what else is on YouTube. But that is my temperance reversed. No, I mustn't do that. I have got to do things that will earn money to pay bills today. So I will be doing a little bit of that, but I'll also be going into the studio today because spider update. Yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I had to abandon the painting in the studio because there was a huge spider on the wall, and it was heading over to be above the door, and I knew as soon as it got over the door, that's it, I'd be trapped in the studio because I wouldn't be able to get out, because I wouldn't be able to go out of the door. So I had to wait for my stepfather to come yesterday, and he did, and both my parents did, and they both went in the studio, and neither of them could find the spider. So in a way, that's really good. And in another way, it's truly horrifying, because it means that the spider is loose in the studio somewhere. But for now, it's not visible. So I'll just be super careful and like not put my hand into any dark corners looking for stuff. And I will be going in there this afternoon to continue with that painting. So I hope that you'll join me there. I'm not going to say any particular time, because I'm going to have to do a bit of work as well before I do that. So it could be any time. So have a fabulous day. I'm sorry I've kept you so long today. And Susie, I hope you can come back to me and give me a little bit of clarification on that. And I hope that gives you a little bit of direction as to what to dig. You guys, Susie, you can reach me via my website. It's on the bottom of the screen there. It's skyspirit.co.uk. And thank you, and I appreciate you being here, my love. So thank you all. I appreciate you all enormously, and I'm going to go now. So stay weird and have a fabulous day ahead, or night ahead, or whatever time of day it is wherever you are. Stay weird.